Hey guys, I'm Lee from Lee Likes Music, the place to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp. And in today's video, we're going to review Ty Segall's newest album. It's called Fried Shallots. Shallots? Man, that's coming up. So before we get into the album review, I just want to talk a little bit about the background story of Ty Segall. So Ty Segall grew up in Orange County in the US as a part of a rich kid community, as he called it. He was basically very bored and didn't have anything else to do, so he got into music, played in a bunch of bands and as a backup artist before he started his solo career. For a long time he believed that rock and roll, the culture and the identity that existed in the 1960s up until the 90s, was something that made people empowered and informed, and it was something that introduced new ideas to people, and I guess that is what he wanted to kind of recreate through his music. And one of the reasons why he's creating garage rock in the first place is because he feels that that type of music and just music in general is a pure expression of emotion. It's probably something that makes him feel very free. So now that you've heard a little bit about the background story, let's get into the album review. Since this is a very short album, I thought why not just talk a little bit about each and every one of the songs. There's only 6 tracks here. The first track is called Big Man, and it's a very dissonant song. It features this repeating guitar riff. And there are also 2 different layers to the guitar. The first layer is really clean, it really doesn't have any effects on it, while the second guitar has this really distorted phone effect. For some reason it really just reminds me of a simplified experimental Beck song. Some of the things he made on Odelay kind of reminds me a little bit of this. Segall really doesn't put that much effort into the vocals, he doesn't put that much energy into it. He basically just has, throughout the whole song, this very high-pitched vocal delivery that is also kind of laid back. There's only one chorus throughout the whole song, but what makes this song a little bit more interesting, despite of the simple and kind of repetitive structure, is that there are some guitar solos and guitar alterations along the way. So yeah, that's good. The second song is called Dust. Now, if we simply look at the intro and the verse of the song, you are served with something that is really distorted, but at the same time, it's a guitar riff that is very easy to digest. It almost reminds me of some stoner rock bands, stoner rock riffs that maybe Queens of the Stone Age and Caius could have made. I really love this small vocal segment during the chorus when he sings Dust. It just sounds like he doesn't put that much air through his vocal cords, so he just sounds like he's about to die or something, or it almost sounds like he's speaking through a fan, sorry. What the fuck? I like this laid-back approach that Segall has in some of his songs. It actually feels like he is really living into the song. He's kind of in the moment. I feel when he's singing this, he is not trying that much. And I don't know, whenever someone tries too hard, it just becomes a bit fake and a bit dull. And I feel like Segall is doing a nice job here when it comes to just having an effortless flow and effortless delivery in his vocals. The mood of Dust is really doomy, but for some reason I also find it a bit uplifting. I'm having a hard time describing exactly what makes this moodscape so enticing to me, but I don't know, I really like it. Third track, When the Gulls Turn to Ravens. This is actually more of a folk inspired track, and that is something that really adds a lot of versatility to the album. Instrumentally speaking, this song is really stripped down. There's a banjo, there's an acoustic guitar, and then you have Segall's vocals, of course, and that's pretty much it. And it does the job, but at the end of the day, I can't say that this song really stood out in any sort of way. It's like the other songs as well. There's a few things that are interesting, but in the like overall picture, I don't find that much to grasp onto and to listen to more in future listens. I don't want to listen to this track that much, because after listening to it one time, it's like, it's a folk track. It's a folk rock track, and that's it. Fourth track is called Is It Real, and it's starting to get really windy again. Wow. This fourth track, Is It Real, kind of like a mix between a hard rock and punk rock song. That is just how I feel about it. That is what I interpret it as. Segall is really good at just changing things up, and this time with his vocal performance, he has more of a loose vowels, sort of, and he's kind of using that way of delivering his vocals to emphasize each and every phrase with more volume and more, I don't know, it just sounds more emphasized. You were held tight. She wanted that baby, so she could be alright. Throughout the whole song, there's also this wall of distorted guitars that you're listening to, and in that way it gently touches on that stoner rock genre again. The fifth track is called and it features this tin can glass lowbrow percussion in the background, which is kind of nice. Or maybe it's just another boring cowbell. I'm not quite sure. I think it's a mix. Maybe there's a cowbell and maybe he's just hitting on some glasses and some furniture. It sounded like Segall wanted this song to be a bit dynamic. He wanted it to move through different passages. But to me, it just sounds a bit dull. It sounds a bit recycled because, I don't know, I feel like I've heard this somewhere before. Now, shortly touching on track number 6, we have Talkin. It sounds like Segall wanted to create this humorous, lowbrow, kind of quirky song, and that is glazed on top of this 60s pop rock sound image. It almost sounds a little bit like the Beatles or maybe the Beach Boys, something like that. I heard you talking about your friends, saying you don't like them. Now, throughout this whole review, you probably remember that I mentioned several bands that I compared. I almost said Steven Seagal, but that is another artist, that is another guy. I compare him to like Kyuss, Queens of the Stone Age. There's like a bit of quirkiness, maybe a bit of Primus or Ween, and then you also have the Beatles and the Beach Boys, and maybe even some, like, he has this lo-fi, down-to-earth, lowbrow sound that almost remind me of like Beck. That is another artist that I mentioned. Mac DeMarco can also be a bit relatable to this guy, and that's the issue, that's the thing. I can trace what Segall is creating on this album to so many other sources. I've heard this before somewhere. It's a versatile album. There's like stoner rock, there's pop rock, some punk here, I would say, some lo-fi music, but again, it's versatile within certain borders. It's versatile, but it's within the picket fence, sort of. So yeah, I've listened to Ty Segall before. I've tried to get into his, I think I listened to one of his other albums, and I don't know, for some reason I didn't like it. Maybe I just need to listen more to some of his other stuff. If you guys have anything you could if you guys can recommend me anything, sorry I can't speak today, then please let me know in the comments below if there's any other album by Ty Segall I should check out. And yeah, that is basically it. I'm gonna give this album a 5 out of 10. Pretty mediocre in my view. Also, if you like to share, explore, and learn about obscure rock music from Bandcamp, then I highly suggest you click the subscribe button below, because that is what I'm all about. Also remember to hit that bell icon beside the subscribe button, because in that way you'll always get notified when I upload new videos to this place, and I'm blowing away. Well, talk to you later guys. Stay tuned.